All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. Chase Young speaks about his lack of effort, and we'll touch on that next in the NFC Championship game. And, of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Corte Madera and Emeryville. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Go say hi to Damon and Mary and tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. And this week, of course, we're off to Las Vegas. We'll be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sharp Corners Sports Cards and Collectibles is one of our sponsors. They're located at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California. Give Anthony Catania a call at 831-521-5264. Go check them out. They're open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And we're also brought to you by ValleyHillRoofing.net. Give them a call at 209-481-6851. And thanks to both for sponsoring our trip to Las Vegas. All right, let's talk about Chase Young. Chase Young caught on film, really just kind of not hustling on the backside on the Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown run that made it 21-7 Lions in the first half of the NFC Championship game. And, it's one of those things where I didn't want to talk about this. I didn't want to bring this up to Shanahan. I don't want to belabor bad news, but my God, the speed at which he was playing at is totally unacceptable for a preseason game, let alone the NFC Championship game with a trip to the Super Bowl hanging in the balance. It was sick, made me sick to my stomach. I asked Shanahan about it. To his credit, he did not dodge. I asked, Bosa and Warner a little bit about their culture, and they said, you know what, that's not us. And neither one to point the finger at Chase, but, at the same time, they can't have it. And then John Lynch and Steve Wilks addressed it the next day. Wilks said, I was embarrassed. And it was an embarrassing effort. And John Lynch said, effort is non-negotiable. And I'll be shocked if it happens again. And it's been dealt with internally. So obviously the 49ers had some dialogue with a number of their players, including Chase Young. And I asked Steve Young, he stopped by the show last night, and I asked him about it. Here's what Steve had to say about that shocking revelation that, Chase Young was kind of not hustling on the backside, expecting somebody else to make a play. There were some guys that weren't, as Kyle said it, weren't necessarily hustling on the backside in the NFC Championship game.
Weird.
When I saw the video, my jaw dropped. I mean, I was at the game, but I was watching it in the press box in the upper level.
Right.
When I watched the TV copy, I got to be honest, I didn't see Chase Young kind of, going three quarters. It felt like a preseason game 3 situation. I brought it up to Kyle. I don't know that he wanted to talk about it. I'm pretty sure he didn't. John Lynch said, hey, look, hard work or hard effort and you're working hard and is non-negotiable. Hustle is non-negotiable. Steve Wilks said, I was embarrassed. And, this has been a narrative, Steve. What did you think when you saw that? And is it indicative of a culture, or is it individual based? Is it a concern in this game? John was like, I'd be shocked if we saw it again. So clearly they addressed it in-house. Bosa and Warner. Warner addressed the team on the field. Normally, to Steve, it's 1-2 minutes before practice. He was out there talking for 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes the other day. They clearly want to eradicate any aspect of that from their game. What did you think of it? And how do they go forward in this game and get beyond that?
It's part of this fear, not fear, just concern that that's happened since Christmas, right? And our 4-man pass rush defined us in 2019 and took us to the game. And it's the difference in those big games. And to watch guys not, it baffles the mind that in San Francisco, with the opportunity that's in front of you, with what's at stake, you think, you talk about Kyle being maniacal, right? And you'd want 50 guys that were maniacal. And to find that that's not true, that's just, it's what's in that locker room, the leadership, this locker room's tremendous. This locker room's leadership that reminds me and feels it resonates with me. This team resonates with me on the teams that we had, in the leadership in the locker room and who they are. So do I expect that to ever see that again? No. But the concern is that, like, their wide nine and the things that they've been doing for a little while, is like, does someone have a book on them? Because let alone forget, okay, let's put aside the hustle situation. Let's just figure that it's gotten fixed. What is keeping us from kind of dominating defensively that, in the last, month or 8 weeks? And have people kind of got a book on us? And they're just, I think there's some fears and anxieties in the system that we're not able to do what we were doing before. And maybe that leads to that. So there's nothing in the playoffs in the 2 games that makes me feel like we've gotten that worked out. And so, it's like, then we got to work it out now, and we got to flip the script and take it to Patrick Mahomes and make sure that he has to put on that Superman cape early, because they get desperate, and he has to do all kinds of crazy stuff, and he starts throwing it around, and they're just under siege. That's got to be how we play football, and it just hasn't been that way, and we got to get it back.
There you go. There's Steve Young talking a little bit about it, and he sounded shocked and also really discouraged that would go on, but it is what it is. You deal with it and you move on. Now, Jennifer Lee Chan, who does a great job covering the 49ers for NBC Sports Bay Area, was in Las Vegas on media night and sat down and actually got Chase Young to address all the talk that has people, accusing him of dogging it in the NFC Championship game. Here's how that exchange went.
Little discussion this week about the effort that was in the Detroit Lions game. How are you guys going to regroup? What did you guys talk about this week?
Yeah, we know we have to do better. We have to do more. Can't have that. I can't have that, and everybody on the team knows that we can't have that. So we're going to do our best to make sure it never happens again.
Is that something you take personally?
Yeah, definitely. We definitely can't have that on the field. Especially when you want to be a top defense in this league.
So there you go. You've heard from Steve and you heard from Chase Young himself, and it just can't happen. And, John Lynch is almost guaranteed that it won't happen again. The 49ers, if they come to play and really everybody gives 100% effort, they're as talented as any team in the league and should be able to win this Super Bowl against the Chiefs. It's going to take everybody. It's going to take all hands on deck. You're not going to be able to be loafing on the backside against Mahomes or Pacheco or any of their guys. I mean, if 49ers are going to win this game, I feel very confident in saying every guy's going to have to bring it. And that includes Chase Young. And Chase Young's a free agent at the end of the year, and this is going to be the last bit of film he puts out there. So if he wants the big payday, he better fire. If he wants the multi-million-dollar offers this offseason, he better fire. He already put some bad film out there with the lollygagging that he kind of showed in the NFC Championship game or in the NFC Championship game. If that repeats itself here, he's not going to get paid very much. Now, if he has a huge game in the Super Bowl, people will probably forgive that, and he'll still get paid. Why? Because he plays a premium position, and there aren't that many good free agents out there. And he has had great years in the past, but he needs a big game in the Super Bowl. And in a lot of ways, if you're a 49er fan, this should excite you because he's motivated. He's been called out. He's been embarrassed. He's had to address it. And I think you're going to see Chase Young bringing it. And I'll take my chances against Jawan Taylor and Donovan Smith. I'll take my chances with Nick Bosa and Chase Young if they both play with their hair on fire. All right, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. We're also brought to you by Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles and ValleyHillRoofing.net. Thanks to all of our sponsors, and thanks to all of you for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.